Comedian Bria and Aaron Scott.
Yeah.
I want everybody to welcome up.
Freaking yeah!
Yeah, Aaron! Be funny.
Already getting heckled by my friends. Well, they were. Wow, I've been up here. I came up here in '96. It's the first place I ever did this stuff. So, you know, I like to support our troops. I believe what we're doing is right over there. However, there is one fundamental thing that really ticks me off about the war in Iraq and what we got going on in the Middle East. The day Saddam Hussein's half brother was hung, there was another guy that a lot of people don't know about that was executed, and his name was Awad Ahmed al-Bandar. And I try not to get too political. I think it was really wrong that they hung this guy because I could have got a hell of a lot more material if they would have just shot Awad in the face. Growing up, my mother was animal lover. She raised dogs. I hate the little bastards. You know, just nothing like sitting there eating your meal, having them stare at you. And, you know, I was about, I don't know, probably 13 years old before I found out I wasn't supposed to pee on the paper. I was really, really disgusted at what you guys do with my water bowls. That's sick. I have a bunch of kids. Between my wife and myself, we've had 8 children. Wow. Yeah. We tried to stop, wiped out the whole tubal ligation done, stiff, cut, burn, all that. And the doctor screwed it up, left one of the tubes in there, so she got pregnant again. And wouldn't you know it, that even though this was entirely not my fault,
You're okay.
she's still screaming at me in delivery. This is all your fault. And I'm like, no, the hell it's not. I told you I wanted a blowjob that night. But, you know, in between having that last one and her getting the surgery done again, I started looking into alternative methods of birth control. And, you know, I'm standing there at the pharmacy and I'm looking at the different packages, and I see this one package. I thought, hey, this is great. You know, Trojan for her pleasure. It's like this whole little pleasure pack. And I was like, man, she's going to love this. It's going to, you know, keep us safe. And I take it home, open it up, and there's a phone number for a Spanish pool boy. But there's the other condom, Trojan, forget which one it is, but the little slogan or whatever on the bottom of it says, you know, for her pleasure, feels like nothing's there. She was really disappointed. But, you know, having a bunch of kids, you know, I mean, it's like, the first one's, it's awesome, and then you have the second one, the third one, the fourth one, and so on. And, you know, eventually it just becomes a routine of, you know, just a bunch of eating, sleeping, crying, pooping, sleeping, crying, eating, sleeping, crying, pooping, and my wife told me that if I didn't cut that shit out, I was going to have to get out. But, you know, 2 of my children unfortunately inherited a seizure disorder from me. And it made us really paranoid, you know, because, I mean, a seizure can only last for a couple of minutes. It takes about 7 minutes to smoke a cigarette. And we were going outside to smoke a cigarette one day, and she's like, well, she's asleep in her swing. How are we going to know if she has a seizure? Well, it's easy. Go tie some milk to her. We come back and it's a milkshake. She had one. Last week, we've got a Nintendo Wii, and my kids love it. They love to fight over it. And when you've got that many kids fighting over a goddamn game system, it just gets really loud, really annoying. And then finally my wife just says, you know what? If y'all don't stop this shit, I'm going to make the Wii disappear. And my 4-year-old, without missing a beat, runs up to her and goes, Mommy, you know magic? She wants to see it. How many people in here got tickets? Pizza tickets? I got my first ticket for doing 98 to 55. Yeah, the cop pulled me over and gets out of his car and he says, do you have any idea how fast you were going? Nope. Did you look at your speedometer? I'm like, yeah, but the needle's broken. It keeps doing this. He says, son, you were doing 98 to 55. I looked down at my 1977 4-door straight 6 Chevy Nova and said, bullshit, I wasn't going downhill. He said, son, going that fast, you know what that means, don't you? And of course, I knew he was meaning that he could lock me up, take me to jail right there on the spot, and I just looked him right square in the eye and said, yes, sir. Means I'm damn lucky you didn't catch me in that 35 downtown. I've had a bunch of different jobs. Don't really like working. It's a pain in the ass. You know, I worked security up at a hospital, and while I was working one day, I'm walking through there, it's unarmed security, and this lady sitting outside the labor and delivery, she goes, excuse me, sir. I said, yes, ma'am. She goes, are you hospital security? And I said, yes, ma'am. She goes, well, you don't have a gun. I know. Well, what do you do if somebody comes in here and starts shooting? I said, I run like hell and hope you can keep up. You know, also, one of my other jobs is I was a tow truck driver up in Gainesville, and I was one of those wonderful people that would go out there and snatch your car if you parked it in the right or in the wrong place. And you know, it's sometimes it's a pain in the ass process. You got to go out there, you got to lift the car up, you got to break into the car, pop the hood, disengage the linkage, and put it in neutral so you can get it out there. And I'm working on a car, got the hood up, and right as I'm getting ready to pop it into neutral, this chick comes out and she says, oh my God, you totaled my car? I said, no ma'am, we're doing random tune-ups and you've won. Most of you from Polk County?
Harney County.
Oh,
People of limited knowledge.
People of limited knowledge. You're right about that.
well, I grew up out in Polk City, and
Bless your soul.
thank you so much. It was so hard to get a date if you didn't have a cousin. Yeah, well, of course. Or some people say it's a brother, but we didn't. But
It's all the same temperature.
it all feels the same in the dark. You know. Okay. What I want to end this on is kind of like a public service message that I like to give. Because I've had so much problems with dating, I mean, obviously I'm such an attractive guy. Yeah. You know, I tried the roofie dating program. And, you know, I heard about it. Like, hey, you can slip this shit in their drink when they're not looking. They drink it, you take them home. Game on. The problem is, I've got ADHD. I have trouble paying attention to what I'm doing. I'm drinking the wrong drink. I'm in the woods with a rubber hanging out of my ass and the gas station. Well, stay away from the roofies and yeah, watch out for those blue and red light specials when you leave here tonight. Thank you very much.